All right. Greetings to the trivalent path seekers of spirit, mind, and body. It's time for the Ask Doc Alkebulanese Solutions show, sponsored by Proof, Prometheus Reborn Universal Foundation, whose mission is to spread tune the trivalent understanding uncovered by Dr. L. Carlisle Woods, RN, MD, Met D1, featuring stand-up philosophy, metaphysics, psychodrama, psychology, science, and featuring an educational genre coined by KRS-One as entertainment, educating while entertaining, performed by the Hip Hop Trio Plus and produced by Global Entertainment. The host of the show is Dr. Kwaku L. Carlisle Woods, RN, MD, Met D1, and myself, co-host, Dr. Hamida Rockvan Woods, MED, PhD, Met D2. I obviously have the PH and he has the M. We both have D's. That makes us Doc squared. The title of today's show is The Blessings.
Oh, yeah. Ha-ha, everybody. How y'all doing? Well, I hope. My wife and I, we're getting over some very, very trying times and some challenging events, as well as some of the most miraculous events in my whole life.
Oh, yes.
We went down to Columbus for the Marvel Comic Book Expo.
Yes.
It was fantastic.
It
was. We went down with two of our children.
Yes.
Our two youngest daughters, and my God. I want to shout out Yonda.
Yes.
Yonda. Yonda is the owner of a Louisiana-based shop, coffee, tea shop.
Yes.
And her mother owns a restaurant right up the street in Columbus.
Right. In addition to that, we had the wonderful opportunity of meeting up with my nephew, Sam.
Sam, what's up, Sam?
He just happened to be in Columbus and called us that morning when we were on our way. And so we spent time with him, and then he came and spent time with us on Sunday and joined us at the Coventry Drumming Circle.
Which is why we're wearing these shirts
Yes.
that have these drums on the front
That's
of it.
right.
If you could see the shirts, if they could see the shirt, Mick, it would be nice.
Yeah, Don Davis is the coordinator of the Coventry
There you go.
Drumming Circle.
There's the
Yes.
drum.
Yes,
Just know
y'all.
that they're always seeing what you're wearing, Doc.
Yes,
Hey.
absolutely. That's what we're doing, y'all. Now, hold on, let me back up. We are missing a friend, a guy by the name of Silver B. Richards, who was one of the entertainment pioneers in Cleveland and Ohio in general. He has passed on into a W.O. Europeans call that death. A con don't. He just left this reality and went to another reality called a W.O. I knew that this was happening about 2-3 weeks before it occurred, and I told everybody who knew Silver B, if you have anything you want to say to him, this is the time to say it, because he will not be here for very much longer. He called myself and my wife his mentor.
Yes.
Don't know why, but
We're honored.
He said that constantly for years upon years to anybody who would listen.
Yeah.
He is much happier now.
Oh, he is so giddy.
Yeah, he is. He is actually giddy now that he is in a W.O. We communicate with him much, much, much more frequently now that he's in a W.O. And he is much more difficult to ignore. But we are happy that he is happy and contented in having carried out his purpose for his living.
Yes.
Now, Today's show is called The Blessings. And the first blessing, it's Marilyn Kaufman with Gwendolyn Pitts and 46 others in Canton.
Yeah.
Another young man I met last year was Silver B. Richards. I had the pleasure of meeting him again at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremonies at the Palace Theater in Canton, Ohio. Here he is with Joe Jackson.
Mm-hmm. And Chubby
Checker standing right behind him. I see Chubby.
Awesome.
I see Chubby. We met Joe Jackson about what? When did we meet Joe, Mick?
About 5 or 6 years ago.
It was been a long time ago.
And it was cousin Silver B, man. We was doing an event at Cleveland State.
Yes.
And Silver B was hosting, and he introduced us to Joe Jackson. He introduced us to so many other stars.
He did. So many stars.
Love that brother, Silver B, man. Rest in power.
Yeah.
Rest in power, my brother.
We know he's a powerful ancestor.
Yes.
Probably one of the most you can ever imagine, especially in anybody who's trying to do anything positive. He's
absolutely
connected to so many.
For all.
Entertainment,
just in life, period.
He was the one that arranged for us to introduce this guy from Illinois who wanted to be president to the city of Cleveland. His name was Barack Obama. We were his first opening act through Silver B. Richards.
I'm gonna pull that picture up in a minute, Doc. Too.
Okay, yes, sir. Well, by all means, please do. We're going to be giving tributes to Silver B throughout the program and probably for the next month or so.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say something about last week's show. Last week's show.
Blast from the past.
Yes, indeed. And it went past fast. It was called Pardon Me, Pink People.
Yes.
And it was my ode to pink people. Again, I seriously believe that my purpose in the life that I'm living now is to teach pink people.
Yes.
And to give them the understanding of their humanity that our ancestors never did when they first came from Europe to Alkebulan, like 2,500 years ago. The Greeks who first came down, Aristophanes, Plato, Aristotle, Hippocrates, they did not get treated the best that they could have by our ancestors in Alkebulan. And as a result of that, they were not given the full understanding of their humanity. And they left, going back to Europe, with not only a whole bunch of ignorance, because our ancestors did not teach them, but a certain degree of stupidity, because they felt, if you didn't give it to us, we don't need it. We don't want to understand what we don't already have. And this led to some big-time problems throughout the whole history of Europe. Pink people had to deal with a very, very limited human understanding of history. They did not readily accept the history of those who were not pink. They did not accept the history of Alkebulan. They did not accept the history of Asia. They did not accept the history of anybody, India being one of the main places, who wasn't pink. As a result, they missed out on the vast majority of mankind's growth, development, and enabled maturity. Their anthropological understanding of that maturity that mankind went through was severely challenged. They had very, 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 very little understanding of the growth of mankind, his development, his, again, maturity, both as a species and as a spirit. They close themselves off from that anthropology as well as the science that was at its base. So much of mankind's discoveries of its own functioning, Europeans denied themselves. And pink people, as a result, suffered for most of their existence from that ignorance. They believed that being sick meant that you was not balanced in your red humors, yellow humors, green humors, so forth and so on. That's why they had to cut open a vein and bleed you if you got sick. They rejected everything that had something to do with functional diseases of the body. Your heart wouldn't function right. Your lungs wouldn't function right. Your kidneys weren't functioning right. Something in you was not functioning as it should be. No. Pink people said that's that humor thing. Yeah, we got to bleed you some more. Yeah, you're not weak enough yet. You still got too much yellow humor. We got to do something about your bile. This led them to have some really trying times with both disease. They were very, very prone to epidemics, smallpox, bubonic plague, syphilis, tuberculosis, most things that were caused by germs which they did not understand at all. Though many Europeans in the 15th, 16th, and 17th century started actually doing experiments and works that pointed to the fact that there were smaller beings, smaller living beings that were in this world with them that had some effect on them. The Roman Catholic Church said, no, it ain't. No, and we refuse to let you find out anything about it. If you try, we're going to torture you and maybe burn you alive at the stake to send a message to everybody else that no, if it isn't European and we don't put our stamp on it to say it's okay, it is evil. It is sinful. Oh, no, 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 no. It might even be satanic. Clutch a pearl. But this is the history that Europe kind of condemned itself to. Biology. They did not have very much exposure to it. The benefit, believe it or not, of the fact that they actually were much, much, much more into war, combat, death, fighting. It actually turned out to be somewhat of a boon and a benefit because this was the only way that Europeans actually got a chance to look inside human beings to see what they work like. The most intelligent people about anatomy and physiology were the surgeons and physicians at the arenas because they got a chance to see human beings open wide up. They got a chance to see how your lungs were situated, how your heart and circulation functioned. Believe it or not, they were the only ones. Again, most of the religious dictates would not allow them to do any anatomy and physiology work. They could not join with others to explore their own shared humanity. Believe it or not, one of my earliest movie treats was to go see movies that were based on facts and history, believe it or not, things like Frankenstein. Ah! Believe it or not. Frankenstein was based on European history. Frankenstein had to go do what? Rob graves. Why? Because the Roman Catholic Church would not let anybody take a human body apart to find out how it worked, what it worked like, what were the physiologies, what were the functional parts of it. That's why in the beginning of that series of movies and the books that was written, started with grave robbing, because that's the only way they could get a body to see how it functioned, was to go steal one. Because, they wouldn't allow nobody to examine one. Oh, no. Roman Catholic Church said, nada. Okay. Speaking of that, we're now on to religion. Let me think. Pink people. Religion. Pink people. Religion. Pink people had religions. That's what Stonehenge and all those things were about, but they were naturalistic religions that, again, revolved around generally combat, war, killing, fighting. Norse mythology was something I studied as a child, and it was all about those things. It was a European religion. The religion of the Greeks and Romans, very, very similar. About war, fighting, combat, bravery, showing yourself to be physically superior to someone else. This was necessary because of the challenges to survival that Europe posed. Not much to eat, not very many fresh growing fruit trees or grains, and not very many animals that you could either husband or use as prey. Survival was hard. And when it came right down to it, Europeans, especially early in their culture, had to be able to sacrifice other people. This, believe it or not, was what wives and children were for. Push come to shove, if you had nothing else to survive on, you would eat them.
Are you serious?
Yes, this is where the bones of human beings with knife marks on them, file marks, and teeth marks were found among other animals used for prey in early European anthropological studies.
So when you hear them making humor about it, you now understand that they are referring and referencing to a real time and place.
Yes. Children belonged to the male who was head of the house. Females belonged to the male who was head of the house. Because the male who was head of the house, or a group or tribe or whatever, had the charge of providing first for himself. And everything was able to be sacrificed if it meant that he survived. Children, again, were husbanded as a resource. Either a work resource, a war resource, or in times of real trouble, food resource. This is their history, and their religion kind of reflects that history. Thor was their big god of war. But the Roman Catholic Church was into the same type of deal. That's why one of the first things they did was organize different wars against people who weren't quote, Christian, unquote. Until they came to the point where they decided, no, we're just going to go over to the Holy Land and kill everybody and take it over again, even though it don't belong to us, didn't belong to us, never belonged to us, belongs to the people who have it now. And our only reason for doing this is because we say that's where our religion came from. But let's take a little closer look at that. Our religion. I'm looking at a list of modern world religions. Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, Taoism.
Okay.
I got any more? Not too many more. Which one of them started in Europe? Answer, none. Absolutely none of them started in Europe. Almost all of them started in Alkebulan, the place that Europeans call Africa. Almost all of them were started by Alkebulanese, or the people that Europeans call Africans or Negroes. And it didn't matter if those dark-skinned people were in the Middle East, India, Southeast Asia. Doesn't matter. All of the world religions were started by those people. And the only Europeans in the Bible were the Romans who killed Y.O.U ben Joseph. Those were the only pink people in the Bible. Everybody else in that book looked like me. Everybody else in that book spent half of their lives in Alkebulan. Just about everybody in that book constantly traveled between Alkebulan, the Middle East, and occasionally trips to Europe. Those were occasional. And none of them were accomplished in any of the first, let's say 40 some odd books of the Bible. Out of the 66 books, it's only been mentioned in, I believe, 4 or 5 books. And these are primarily the books that the New Testament utilized to tell of the death of Y.O.U ben Joseph. Again, there is nobody named Jesus Christ. That was a name that Europeans put on the man that would have been named when he was named Yeshua, since the Jews at that time had no J in their alphabet. Europeans put it there. Okay. Now, one of the major things that we have left with now as a result of that history is the fact that Europeans still spend most of their time, energy, resources on fighting, war, death, killing. The same things that were the main focuses of the Greek religions, the Roman religion, and Christianity as practiced by the Roman Catholic Church. If you were a Viking, in order to go to quote-unquote heaven, which they called Valhalla, you had to die with a sword in your hand, preferably killing someone. That was their religion. And that religion, or that religionist thought about what is important in existence, continues to this very, very day. Let's take a brief look at how that reflects itself now. The United States of America That's where we live, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How much money did the United States of America spend last year on the military? And you want to take that amount and measure it against how much they spent on something that isn't about killing. Let's say education, something that's about growing and learning and maturing and enabling yourself. How much money did the United States of America spend last year on the military, on death and killing? Answer, right at $1 billion, no. Right at $1 million, no. Right at $1 trillion, 801 billion in the outfront budget, and about another 220 billion undercover. So right at $1 trillion, the United States of America spent on military, on killing folks, on death and destruction. How much did we spend on education? Well, it just so happens that Joey B., who is our present president, increased the amount spent on education more than it has been in the past 10 years. He put a whole bunch of extra money into education, and he brought the education budget all the way up to $88.1 billion. So less than 1/10 of what was spent on killing was spent on enabling, uplifting, and educating humanity. Okay. Hadn't changed much. Nope. And that's why I'm here to instruct pink people. We're going to do that in lots and lots of different ways, lots and lots of different physiologic and cultural techniques. A lot of them end up with you voting. Okay. Hey, we got some comment here. Zelda Mark. Hey, McBeast, it's Boy.
Hey, Bird.
What's up, Bird?
What's up? What's up? Doc, that's me. Yeah, Lord. Most definitely and assuredly. We're giving y'all a holler. Give us a holler. Call and give us a question. Test us and see if we do have the understanding we say.
Call in, Zelda Marks or Bird. Give us a call and ask a question if you got anything.
Yeah.
Share and like and comment,
please. Please.
Right.
We love it.
And you can also leave a question right there in the comment area.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. You can do it. It can happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to take an aside and step aside. No, I ain't gonna step. But I am emotionally and verbally. Because I want to give a shout out to the National Basketball Association.
Yes.
The NBA. Mm-hmm. I never got a chance to play for the NBA. I played for the ABA very, 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 very briefly. Mm-hmm. But the NBA is canceling any games that is on our November election.
Yes, November the 8th.
Yes.
2022, y'all.
They are canceling all games, and I just want you to know the NBA has never, I repeat, never canceled or postponed a game except on Thanksgiving and on Christmas Eve. But they understand that this election is so very, very important for the nation and for humanity that they are moving aside. Forget making money. Forget the millions and millions that they would be raking in. It is much, much more important to put this nation to a vote that would save the democracy for which it stands.
You can also go to their website, and they're going to post each state's progress over the next few months. They're going to include voter registration deadlines. Um, and as my husband already said, this is the only other time they've done this other than holidays. I believe Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Thanksgiving and Christmas Eve.
And they're promoting nonpartisan citizenship.
Hot dog. I love it. I love it a lot. Okay. Back to the issue at hand. Blessings. I wrote a book some time ago. It's called The Blessings of Slavery. Now, The Blessings of Slavery, an edutainment novel by me. A great story, masterfully told, revealing truth, promoting healing, offering a new way of life.
Yes.
By Reverend Dr. Craig E. Wright, Ph.D. When are we doing the music? Okay, in just a few moments. The Blessings of Slavery, as it states, is an edutainment novel. It's an adventure story full of sex and violence, because I wrote it for American audiences. Now, none of the sex or the violence is gratuitous. Each instance is there for a specific purpose and to point you to a specific lesson. Inside this book are all of the basic lessons of the trivalent understanding noetics and many of the tools that we use to change humanity.
Yes.
All of that is in this book entitled The Blessings of Slavery. Now, blessings. We state that we have been blessed by a higher power that we call the Most High, God.
He, she.
He/she. But regardless of whether you share that feeling or that association with a higher power or not, whatever higher power you may or may not worship, if you ask that higher power for a gift or an ability, say courage, would that higher power simply give you that gift, give you courage?
Well,
or would that higher power arrange for you to develop it, arrange for you to grow it, arrange for you to utilize it, arrange for you to build it within yourself?
Give us some comments on that question.
Please feel free to ask me. Yes, indeed. Please ask me. But give me your comments on that question that I'm asking you. Doc's asking you.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, he is. For me, my higher power would put you in a situation to develop what you wanted and make sure that you had to utilize that. I am posing that as a pretext for the blessings that our ancestors received from having to go through the disabling situation that we call chattel slavery here in the United States of America. As a result of having their humanity questioned, they had to focus on that humanity. They became kind of expert on liberty, justice, freedom, humanity. They became experts on how that humanity is to be expressed, how that humanity is to be enabled, how that humanity is to be experienced, how that humanity is meant to be savored, and how the things that take that humanity away need to be eliminated. They did so much more with so little that they developed creativity, imagination, and other abilities of both mind, spirit, and body that we've been blessed with. And that blessing is not just for those who look like me. Those blessings are for all of humanity. I would pose that my job, again, is to teach these blessings to pink people, to teach them how to use their spirit, to teach them how to focus their spirit through their minds, to teach them how to use their mind and their spirit to control how their body functions. Look at my face. Okay.
Yes.
This is me. At almost 73. I have no major problems with my physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual being. And I am chosen by doctors, preachers, men of religious renown as their consultant,
Yes.
as their physical, emotional, and spiritual guide. I'm not chosen by those people for any inherent personal gifts. No, no, no. I have gifts that have been passed down to me by my ancestors. I'm doing what my Uncle Leroy did. I'm doing what my grandfather, Papa, did. I'm doing what my mama did. I'm doing what all of the Martins, Woods, and Roans, majors before me have been doing before me, and pass this down to me. These gifts are blessings that we received because our ancestors had to go through this thing called slavery. And having gone through that thing, we are not only much, much stronger, but much more resistant to anything that would deprive us of our humanity. And as such, we have been chosen as the role models for almost every human being on this planet that is fighting for their humanity. We were the examples when India wanted freedom. We were the examples when Alkebulanese countries wanted freedom. We were the examples when Asian countries wanted freedom. We were the examples when pink people wanted freedom. You remember pink people, especially that Josh Hawley guy, doing this, an Alkebulanese symbol of freedom? January the 6th? Yeah. They're even using our ancestors' psychological, social symbols.
Yes.
That's because they are functionally superior. Not to mention that functional superiority comes from the biological genetics of being a hybrid that, according to the Bible, God has been experimenting with since he first created this place called Earth. The first thing he did was hybridize his sons with the daughters of men. And he's been working on doing that constantly ever since. But not going there allows pink people to believe other than what science, other than what biology, other than what anthropology and all the other sciences show, that they can call themselves the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're the best. Except in athletics and intelligence and learning and peace. And no, we're not so good. And we're really, really good at killing. We're really, really good at polluting. We're really, really good at destroying. But that has been the focus. And that focus has not changed. Right now, Joey B is trying to tell a whole bunch of pink people that they are the major danger to the United States of America continue to be a democracy. And these same ignorant, somewhat stupid pink people are threatening, like they normally do, to kill people who have got absolutely nothing to do with why they feel threatened. Let me say, they're MAGA threats, Joey B calls them, to the FBI, to police, to politicians, to librarians, to poll workers, volunteers, Dr. Fauci and other health professionals. Yeah, they have threatened to kill, that's the thing, all of these people who have done nothing except profess democracy and profess democratic ideas. These pink people who are into death and murder don't want democracy. They don't want you voting. They want to limit that to just them. They feel that they're being replaced. You are. You're being replaced by something better. It's called being meta. And it is not people who look like me who are doing that. It's people who look like you. People who are pink, just like you. But who have understood and who, to a certain degree, have been biologically engineered so that they think better than you do. And that thinking better leads them away from the death, the violence, the oppression, the murder that is kind of the hallmark of being pink. Okay. Now, I want to talk about a guy by the name of Resmaa. It's spelled Menachem, but I think he pronounced him Menachem. He's an author who wrote a book called My Grandmother's Hands. And this book is about deep-rooted trauma linked to racism. He states it is both historical, intergenerational, and personal traumas brought on by racism. Again, these are things that pink people do. Pink people are the only, that I'm aware of, perpetrators of race riots. Pink people are the only perpetrators of pogrom. Pink people are the only perpetrators of just riding through an area and just killing, beating, and raping any person that you see of a particular nationality, religious doctrine, or color.
That's what a program is.
Pogrom is that. That's what they visited upon the Jewish population of Europe for hundreds of years. That's why the Jewish population of Europe looks pink. when they were originally Alkebulanese and looked very much like me.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm just going to ask you to look at this note here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate that. In approximately 3 minutes.
Okay.
I've gotten to that point.
Okay.
Okay. Deep-rooted trauma linked to racism. And he states that, unfortunately, this racism is often treated intellectually and not dealing with the physical effects of this racism. People think about it, and they don't realize that it has an effect both on your body, your culture, and the trauma that it causes in people. If it's a whole group of people, it can masquerade as a symbol or sign of the culture, because everybody in that culture is dealing with the trauma personally and intellectually of racism. And everybody in this country who is Alkebulanese has been and will continue to deal with the trauma caused by pink people's fears that lead to their racism. This is very similar to a term that John Steinbeck used to explain the negative disabling force that a group express who has been blocked, whose purpose has been eliminated, or who have had their path to their ultimate goal blocked. He called it the grapes of wrath. Unfortunately, it's not just something that an individual has. It's often passed down from parent to child, as Mr. Menachem states. We got a song written by Mississippi Charles Bevel, and Sippy called it Not a Season, because human beings are the only beings on this planet that don't have a mating season. We mate 24/7, 365. Y'all know it's true. Y'all know it's true. So he called it Not a Season, but gave us permission to alter it a little bit, and we call it Grapes of Wrath. Listen to this song.
Babies coming to this world, not a season. Even if we don't, they know the reasons. And the one who sends them, gives them gifts to care. Tells them, children, take your time, but do not tarry. You will all arrive but naked, equally endowed to make it. You should have everything you need when you get there. But you should never have to eat the grapes of wrath. You should never have to eat the grapes of wrath. Gods and babies, they don't know how we are divided. If they did to send them, never would have been decided. Red and brown, black and white, how we mock them. Rich and poor, high or low, is how we stop them. Why do we make those distinctions when we don't have an inkling of what each child will bring? How how they'll share. We just take their gifts and crush like we don't care. Then we send them out to harvest the grapes of wrath. Yes, we send them out to harvest the grapes of wrath. They should never have to the grapes of wrath. They should never have to eat the grapes of wrath. So we all get in line for a young one. Some will grab 10 or 12, some will get none. And the children chose by rich ones will be pampered, while the children left to poor ones will be hampered. Why do we act like such heathens when every known religion teaches us each and every child is in our care? But we just take their gifts and crush them like we don't care. Then we send them out to harvest the grapes of wrath.
Yes, we send them out to harvest. Yes, we send them out to harvest.
Yes, we send them out to harvest the grapes of wrath. Whoa, whoa,
Yes, The Grapes of Wrath by the Hip Hop Trio Plus and produced by Global Entertainment. You can give us a call now if you like, 1-602-610-2060. And the conference code is 8084 and ask Doc a question.
Absolutely. Okie doke. We're talking about Resma.
And there is...
Menaken. Oh, that's us. That is Global Entertainment introducing this guy from Illinois who wanted to be president to the city of Cleveland. Of course, that's me with the bald head holding the drum, and he is holding up our latest CD. All the way on the end is McKinley Tate III, known as Mick Beats, and the guy holding the violin is Miles Alexander Keaton Smith.
And I'd like to give recognition to Silver B again because he was the one that put this together.
Put you all together. He sent us down there, and they used me as a stalking horse. Now, if you notice, Barack doesn't have gray in his hair. This was in 2008 when he was trying to get the Democratic nomination for president. This was before the office. Senator then. Yeah. Yes. But that's Silver B. That's some of his work.
I got a trivia question for you, Doc.
Okay.
Who was the first musical act to ever open up for the first African-American president?
Let me think
just about any city. The first musical act.
First musical act. Us.
Global Entertainment as the Afropeans? Or
yes.
Okay.
Us.
And who was us?
That is McKinley Tate III, Miles Alexander Keaton Smith, James Holder, and Dr. L. Carlisle Woods, RN, MD.
Ashe.
Now, did I get that trivia question correct?
Yes, you did.
Hot dog! Yes.
Yeah, and by the way, we'll use terms here that you might not be familiar with. I just said Ashe. It is a Tweed name from Alkebulan, and we've talked to you about Alkebulan, a.k.a. Africa. But yes, Ashe, amen.
Absolutely.
Ashe to pour some libations out to everybody for Silver B.
Yes,
Silver
Ashe.
B. That's him. And you'll see people and hear people be doing that constantly, because that's his thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's get back to this, pardon me, pink people thing. Let's get to the blessings. The blessings. Believe it or not, white supremacy. White supremacy is a blessing in so many different ways. Way number one, by its very name, you understand the images that these people have are kind of twisted. Wait a minute, y'all. Who's that that said, hey, y'all, on the thingamajiggy? Okay. Hey, y'all.
Ty, that's Ty.
That's Ty.
Hey,
What's up,
Ty?
Ty? What's up, my brother?
No, that's Mick's sister.
Oh,
That's Ty. That's the Ty we talking about right
Okay.
there. That's Ty.
all right. I'm sorry.
Ty Genevieve was what her Facebook name is.
Yeah.
Okay. Her name is
Yeah.
Tyra. Okay.
Your name is Tyra.
Her
Yeah.
real name is
Nickname
Tyra
Ty.
Young. Tyra Ann Young.
Tyra Ann Young. That's right. She
Formerly
said that.
Tyra Tate.
She used to be Tyra Tate.
Tyra Ann.
She used to be TT. Tyra Tate.
Aw.
What's up, Ty? And yes, white supremacy is a blessing because it tells you in its name it is based on misstatements of fact. There is no more white beings that are called humans on this planet. When Alkebulanese first went into Europe, they met a group of white beings called Neanderthals. They interbred with those Neanderthals and became who we now call pink people. They are pink. And if they ever get to the point where any one of them starts to be close to white, they quickly find themselves a physician to find out what the hell's wrong with me. They know that as being pale, as being wan, as being weak, as being drained. That's what white is. But in the English language, according to O.C. Davis, there are 324 definitions for the word white, among them glowing, spiritual, virginal, spotless. All of them are positive. There are 231 synonyms for black, among them sooty, besmirched, begrimed, evil, untrustworthy, crooked. All of them are negative. He then states, the language by which I earn my living teaches me to hate myself. This is a demonstration of the lies that are used by pink people to disable, assault, and cause a certain amount of psycho-spiritual trauma to all of humanity. Understanding this allows you to avoid those things. If you do not want to understand that, that's called being stupid. It is supposed to cause the same type of psycho-spiritual trauma that Resma Menachem talks about in his My Grandmother's Hands book. White body versus cultural personal. The difference between what you are told to see and what you actually observe. That's the difference between calling someone white and seeing someone who is actually pink.
Well, hey, Doc.
Yes, sir.
I got kind of a question I wanted to, that was so profound what you just explained there.
Uh-huh.
I think it's very important for us to control our own narratives in the proper sense, So the question to you is, why is it important to know that we're not black and white people aren't white?
Okay.
And what are we really?
Yes, indeed. Excellent question.
Yes.
And especially at this particular point in the show, to have that bounced out is magnificent. Let me go way back. What you know and what versus what you understand. Knowing is emotional spiritual, happens in a part of your brain called the limbic system, and it is emotional spiritual because you feel an emotion associated with what you know. It's often confused with understanding that happens in the cerebral hemispheres. Understanding is not about a feeling. Understanding is about what you think, not what you feel. Okay. I go back to that because it is so important to allow your feelings to be superior to what you think, because we are trained in what to think. We are not trained in what to feel. Feeling, therefore, is much more natural. It is much more personal. It is much more associated with the experience of life, and not the training that somebody who wants to control your life wishes to impose upon you. Understanding the reality of what you know is essential to you controlling you. That's why Y.O.U. in the trivalent understanding noetic stands for your own understanding. Not the one that's been handed down, not the one that you are trained to accept, but the one that is inherent in you. Now, does that approach the answer to that question, my brother?
No, I thought you were gonna go into Alkebulanese and why we.
Okay, well I can take that. That's just the next step.
We have another caller.
Okay.
We have a caller actually calling in.
That's a blessing. Hold on, let me finish what you just said, and then let's get this caller.
Okay.
I said again, you taking charge of your own understanding. Part of that understanding is about what you are. Another part is about who you are. Another part is about where you are. Another part is about when you are, so that you can determine why you are. According to that who you are not an African American. Africa was a place that was given that name by Romans after the Second Punic War, because the war was won by a general named Scipio Africanus. So let's name the whole continent after him. Of course, when Rome took over Europe, they taught these words to Europeans. That's why French, German, English, Russians, and all Europeans call Africa, Africa. Those who know the original name understand that the Alkebulanese that they actually are, not the Africans that Europeans tell them they are, is a way of not only embracing your true nature, but embracing you, your own understanding. Now, does that work?
That was much better.
Thank you so very much. Okay, we got a caller.
All right,
This
caller.
is Ask Doc. I want somebody to ask me something.
Yes. Give us your name, and if it's okay, tell us where you're from and your question.
Okay.
All
I don't
right.
think they're connected correctly. We're gonna try this again.
Okay. We're
Okay.
going to try it again.
McKinley take the word, said, hello.
And
said,
Tyron,
yo,
what do you-
yo.
Tyra, what do you mean by it's an oxymoron? What is
It's
it?
an
What,
oxymoron.
yeah, what does that mean? Let us know.
Okay, what's an oxymoron? I can think of lots.
Well, about the,
Several.
I'm hoping it's in reference to the show. That's the reason why I'm asking her. Yeah.
No, I think she's referring to white power.
Okay. And how is that? How would that be an oxymoron?
Because white is not powerful. White
Okay.
is never powerful.
Okay.
White means you do not have functional melanin.
Okay. I understand that. Okay.
Yeah. If you are pink, that means that you are genetically recessive.
Right.
If you are genetically recessive, you are not genetically dominant. So how could there be white
Not real.
power
Okay.
when white is recessive? It is weakness, not powerful.
Okay. Okay.
Now that's one of many answers to that statement about it's an oxymoron.
All right.
Okay, we're still trying to connect that, so I'm gonna go on. This.
Hello.
Okay.
Yes. Your name?
Okay. Hi. This is KK from Cleveland, Ohio.
All right, KK.
Yeah, KK.
Hey, we know you. So glad to hear from you. You have a question for us? For Doc?
Yes.
Ask Doc.
Yes.
Ask it, please.
Yes. So, great. So my question is, in regards to the grapes of wrath. To me, it seems like a lot of people have been able to forgive their parents for the grapes that they unfortunately had to harvest. Some more bitter than others. And that happens through the kids knowing their parents' stories as people, understanding, what happened to them that would make them treat the kids the way that they did. And my question is, how can one rid themselves of resentment toward their parents,
Good question.
even when knowing their stories as people still doesn't seem like it's enough? And how can we, in turn, prevent ourselves from passing on those grapes to our children or to each other?
Okie doke. Excellent question.
Yes.
Let me see if I can give you a framework for the solution to that problem. First and foremost, you're dealing with a certain resentment that is due to the feeling by the child that they have been inflicted with some unnecessary harm, psychological harm, but it's also spiritual harm because it usually refers to an image of negativity and disabling forces that the parent talks over with the child and tells the child, you got to watch out for this, you better wait for this, because it's going to happen, and so forth and so on. All right. Those types of experiences are experiences that leave these images in your spirit. And it is the rehashing of those images that allows a child or a young one to re-experience that same type of disabling influence that their parents did. They should deal with the images, not just the words that the parents used, but try to eliminate the images that those words reflected within them. uh, a child has a mission, and that mission is just starting. That's why they're children. That mission involves growing and maturing with some of those challenges that are actually proposed by parents. So some of those harvests are necessary for the children to develop strengths that they will need to perform their purpose. When those things cause disabling influences, those images need to be eliminated. That's why the trivalent understanding noetics fills at least a portion of its instructions with how to alter those types of images by replacing them with images that will eliminate them. That's why we use agape, images of agape, to eliminate hate. That's why we use images of faith and grace to eliminate guilt and shame. We use images of filial affection and love to get rid of hate, because those are the trivalent means by which your images not only can be, but should be changed.
Once those factors that my husband just mentioned are removed, then you'll be able to get yourself out of the way. The individual can get themselves out of the way so they can listen to what the Most High wants them to do in reference to that, your relationship with that individual.
'Tis true.
Wow.
Does that answer your question, ma'am?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank y'all so much.
You are so welcome, dear Kenya.
Thank you, Kenya.
May the Lord bless you and the ancestors continue to protect you on your path.
Hey, Doc.
Yes.
We got one more question on the message chat here.
Okay.
And then right after that, I want you to, I think we should dedicate this today's show to Silver B. Richards.
Okay.
All right.
All right, let's do that.
And
Ashe.
end the note on Y.O.U. But here's a question right here from Ty Genevieve.
All
Then we can
right.
talk about Y.O.U.
Did we choose to be here?
Oh my God. All right. I'm going to go back to the Akan, of course. The Akan were one of the first human being groups on this planet to believe in and propose monotheism, the fact that there is only one supreme being. The Akan taught this philosophy to the Kemetans. Europeans called those Egyptians. The Kemetans taught this same philosophy to the Hebrew, who were later turned into the Hebrew in Europe, and they taught it to the whole rest of the world. The Akan say that we lived in an existence called Y.O.U. And in Y.O.U., it is a spiritual existence. There is no physical boundaries for Y.O.U. Because it's physical, you have many of the abilities that your spirit have, while none of the failures and weaknesses that your physical being possess. While we are there, we have the opportunity to leave there and come here, but it has to be with the approval of both the Most High and the ancestors. The Akan state that before any human being is born, they have to go before the Most High and the ancestors and give a reason for them to be born. They must have both a purpose and a reason And that purpose and reason must be something that their family line has been dealing with for generations. Once it is agreed by the Most High and the ancestors that your purpose is valid, it is up to you to find a mother and a father. And that mother and the father is going to be the route by which you are taken, or sent, really, from Owuo to this reality that we call Earth. Everybody asked to come here. Everybody not only chooses to come here, but argues for the purpose of their coming here. Okay, I have addressed it. I hope that
Thank you for that question, Tyra.
Yes, by all means.
May the Lord bless you and the ancestors protect you.
One last thing that I need to cover about the blessing of white supremacy. White supremacy. That's what I'm doing. Okay, these grapes of wrath that white supremacy ends up causing can lead to personal problems that individuals will experience as panic attacks, anxiety, depression. Unfortunately, most people who are experiencing these things don't realize that that's coming from the racism that white supremacy causes. They just know that they feel bad. They don't know to ask for help.
Wow.
They don't know that the way that they are feeling is caused by a generational problem that pink people have been causing for about 2,000 years.
Now, you're referring to pink people don't know how to ask, or just people in general?
People in general don't know how to ask.
Culture.
We don't know how to ask. Everybody you know is anxious. Everybody in my family has panic attacks. Everybody I know of has depression and anxiety. And we consider that to be normal. I do. If you are not, you don't really know who you are or where you at or what's going on.
Not paying attention to
You are not paying attention. Dr. Joy DeGruy, I guess, Degrui, post-traumatic slave syndrome, she talked about. And that's she wrote a book on that topic.
Excellent lecturer.
Ends up talking about communal ways of healing, very similar to what we propose in the Trivalent Understanding Noetics. I'm just about through. I would like to do one last song as we go out.
That. Would you like for us to greet everyone before we do, or after the song?
Okay, I'm being directed.
Hey, Silver B, that's a
Silver
wonderful picture.
B.
Silver
Richard.
B.
I was just saying, what I was trying to say is he has transferred and transitioned into a W.O.U, which Doc can very briefly explain, but we've explained it before. But just if nobody caught it in the last.
Okay, Mick, do you have the song of W.O.U?
Yes, I do.
Awesome.
Can you play that, and we'll close with that?
Yes.
All right, I'll have to load it up real quick.
Okay, then while you're loading it up, we will say peace. And that's it.
It's going to take me a minute, so you probably want to explain it, and then I have to load it onto the zip drive.
All right, we're going to first say peace. P-E-A-C-E. That stands for proper education always corrects error. Owuo. Again, the Akans say that we come from a place called Owuo. Owuo is the non-material spiritual realm that the Most High controls, commands, and to a certain degree recruits people both to and from. Owuo is a place that is spiritual in nature and spiritual in physiology. your mind is controlled by images. Your spirit is the manufacturer of those images. And in Owuo, images control everything. You don't have to talk in Owuo. You think images to someone else. And that's how you communicate. It might be called here in this realm, but it's simply how things are done in any spiritual realm. Owuo is a place that I have visited once. Once I was here and alive. I actually died. I got blown up by a rocket-propelled grenade and tore a hole in my side, and I bled to death. And I might have stayed that way if it wasn't from a crazy Hawaiian named John Kalama, who actually shot a corpsman in the leg and made him take me out to a body bag and resuscitate me. I remember going there, and it's the same story that everybody who's ever been there and come back will tell you. You go through the tunnel that's small and smaller. It's a light at the end of the tunnel. You keep advancing toward. Once you get to the light is a place of warmth and pleasure that is not experienced here on earth. You feel good and you don't know why. You feel a warmth and you don't know why. You feel a elevation, a lifting above, and you don't know why. That's because your spirit has left your body, and your body has been left down there, behind, below.
So you wouldn't understand why, but you know
why. No, you would not understand it. You would feel it. Again, that's knowing.
Yes.
You would not understand these things that occurred.
Right.
I am in Owuo, and a being approaches me and tells me that I'm not supposed to be there. And they explain to me why I'm not supposed to be there, that I have so much stuff to do, I have so much stuff to accomplish. I said I was going to do yada, 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 and I have to do yada, 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 because that was my bargain for being born. I was supposed to change mankind. Okay, I'm about that. And they were explaining all this to me as I'm fighting as hard as I can not to be back down on earth.
Yeah.
Because earth is a place of pain.
Yes.
Distress. Discomfort.
Yeah.
All of these things that do not exist in Owuo. I'm fighting and cussing and stuff, and I remember I'm doing this.
And we can get ready to wrap this
with
up
my
now,
spirit,
because Owuo should be coming up as you wrap up.
Oh yeah, let Doc finish real quick though. But that was, I know what you're saying. We about to wrap this up.
I am through. Okay. Please hit Owuo.
Here we go.
This song is about transition. From birth to childhood, adolescence to adulthood. This particular transition is the greatest one and the most important phase of all life. In fact, it's where all life is directed. In English, this phase of transition is called death. But to the Akan, it is known as Owuo. Owuo is the spiritual state of all living. It is the condition that drives all of life. It is memory, imagination, and most of all, it is intention. Y.O.U need never be feared. And unlike the concept of conscious dissolution, in Y.O.U, your consciousness is reborn. Reborn with all of your knowledge. Reborn with all of your wisdom. Reborn to your creation. Embrace your homegoing. Return to your origins with celebration. It is the very breath of the Most High.
I am tired a little bit differently. I'm dressed as Baba Amwa. If you would like more of your own understanding, like, share, and subscribe.
Yes.
And go to the sites that we have listed around us. The Most High is good.
And the ancestors are kind.
Thanks
for having us on your minds.
Peace.